Paint peeling off them old brick signs. Folks work hard, keep their heads down, trying to hold on to better times. Used to leave your door unlocked at night. Now everybody's got a camera on. Still got faith if we get it right, we can fix what's gone wrong. Ain't about talk, ain't about show. It's about the way we live, the way we know. Let's get back to dirt roads, back to porch lights. Never standing up when it ain't polite. Cold beer, hot true stars up above. A little less noise and a whole lot of love. Red, white, blue ain't a trend we chase. It's sweat on your shirt and calloused hands grace. If we're gonna stand, we don't stand apart.
Welcome into Apex News Above the Noise. I am Kyle Thompson.
I'm Craig Blanton, reading about Aaron Torres saying Ryan Hampton could reclass also.
Well, funny that gets mentioned because that was breaking news on here yesterday, and now it may be and now that may be coming to fruition, right? So
that's Kyle, how we're ahead of the game.
We got to be ahead of the game. We are ignoring the elephant in the room, actually the turkey in the room. John Hibbert, our good friend, joining us today.
Evening. How are you all?
I'm doing great. Sorry that we are a couple minutes late coming on the air because these guys wouldn't shut up. They're all yapping about all the big things going on in town. Anytime you get Greg talking about news, everybody in Frankfort knows that is a losing endeavor to try to get that to stop. So
they know he knows what's going on before.
Oh yeah, one way or the other. You're getting tagged and all sorts of stories all over the country. Yeah. So. We will open tonight with Iran, where the House passed a $95 billion war funding package on a 216 to 214 party line vote. Doesn't get any closer than that. And where the Budget Committee chairman summarized the entire effort in 6 words, just bullets and bombs to finish the job. We'll cover the vote, what it contains beyond the war funding, and a solemn update. Trump attended the dignified transfer of fallen service members this week, and Lieutenant Tyler Feehan's family flew home on Air Force One. Then we have 2 food safety stories that you and your family need to know about right now. An 11,000 case Cyclospora outbreak has been linked to Taco Bell iceberg lettuce in 5 states. One of them is Kentucky, and separately, nearly 1.6 million dozen eggs have been recalled from Kroger, Brookshire's, and other retailers for potential salmonella contamination. Please listen to this segment carefully. Then the 2028 Democratic primary is taking shape, whether anyone is ready for it or not.
No, I am.
In a new university, I'm getting ready to make my donations. I want this to come to fruition so bad. A new University of New Hampshire poll shows Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez now leading the field at 22%, with Kamala Harris falling way behind at 5%. It's like people forgot about her. Then they remembered why they didn't vote for her. They're like, we're good. We don't really care about that. Left-wing streamer Hassan Piker went through a list of every major Democrat and said that AOC is the only one he would support, which is interesting. Not even a question. Then a Chicago plumbing contractor who helped build the Obama Presidential Center has shut down, laid off 25 union workers. That is no bueno, and is fighting a nearly $4 million payment dispute, all while the opening gala featured Bruce Springsteen and Bono and all sorts of other people. And the governor, who says he's pro-union, has said nothing on this. I know that shocks both.
J.B. Pritzker's been mighty quiet.
Very quiet about that. Then we're going to talk about South Carolina's filing window that has opened up as of 2 days ago. And we're going to close in Kentucky, where Rodkey Atkins has made it official for his gubernatorial run, and we will get above the noise. But before we get into tonight's show, this is your first time, welcome into Apex News Above the Noise. We built this show so you have somewhere to go for real news without all the spin. Tonight gives you something to think about, or if you enjoy it, make sure you give it a like, share, subscribe. Make sure you click on that notification bell so that you are notified every single time we're about to go live, and you can be here with us to stay above the noise. So let's get right into it, gentlemen. The House of Representatives passed a Republican-only $95 billion budget resolution on Wednesday by a vote of 216 to 214, the narrowest possible winning margin. Every Democrat voted no. 2 Republicans and 1 independent who caucuses with Republicans also voted against it. The package bundles 3 things: funding for Operation Epic Fury, the ongoing military campaign against Iran, replenishment of weapon systems the United States has been expending at an unprecedented pace, and significant provisions of the Save America Act, the administration's federal voter ID and election security legislation. Interesting tidbit there. Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington of Texas delivered the most unambiguous summary of the package's philosophy from the House floor. This is just bullets and bombs to finish the job. Speaker Mike Johnson, who is pictured here on the screen with us, described it as the GOP's best shot to enact much of the Save America Act into law as possible, which explains why Democrats found both elements worth opposing simultaneously. It is important to be precise about what this vote actually did and did not do. This is a budget resolution, the first step in the reconciliation process. It instructs House committees to begin writing the actual spending and policy legislation, something that will not take them long. The Senate must also adopt a concurrent budget resolution before anything can proceed to a reconciliation bill that would actually become law. Senate Republicans have expressed significant skepticism about both the war funding approach and the inclusion of the SAVE Act provisions, mainly because they can't find some of their people, which face procedural challenges under the Byrd Rule that governs what can be included in reconciliation legislation. That would be former Senator Byrd, by the way. If anybody wants to look him up, feel free. In practical terms, Wednesday's House vote is step 1 of a multi-step process in which many things can still go wrong. But the politics of the vote, forcing Democrats to oppose war funding and election security in the same vote in the same bill 4 months before midterms, are deliberate and transparent, gentlemen. Craig and John, 216 to 214, every Democrat no, 2 Republicans no. Budget Chair Arrington says it's just bullets and bombs to finish the job. We've seen that over the last couple of days as we are now into night 12, I think, of continued action over in the Middle East. The Save America Act voting requirements bundled in with the Iran war funding, especially after what we've heard in New Jersey over the last couple of days. Michael Sherrill, actually, governor for New Jersey, actually coming on and admitting that there were at least 400.
Yeah, the Democrat governor of New Jersey.
Democrat governor, and actually attacked her own party and the previous governor for not being transparent enough about it. So I think the idea here is that let's just face this head on. And
she still blamed Trump.
Oh, of course, it's always
she still blamed Trump, even though this happened in 2023.
Yeah, right. They don't
Trump
believe
wasn't
it.
elected until
They don't believe it affected
2025.
they don't believe it affected anybody, but
Yeah.
any of the elections. But we will see. Let me ask you guys this. I'll start with you, John. Is this a unified Republican war funding strategy or more of a political maneuver that may not produce the legislation it promises?
Oh, I think it's a political maneuver, 100%. To me, it's getting to a certain point. I know, like with most Republicans, how this war started, the whole premise behind why we started into it. I think, but most of us are at this point of like, okay, if it's bullets and bombs, let's get to dropping them.
Let's get to dropping them. That's right.
I mean, I hate to say that, but at a certain point, like they've well called our bluff on numerous occasions at this point. And if it is just bombs and missiles and fine. But I think it's nothing but a political maneuver because I think at this point they don't really know what to do. I really do. I think they thought that they could getting an insurgency down, and that's pretty much what Iran has left as a political party, is an insurgency party. I don't know if it's ever going to go away.
Craig, when we talk about the Save America Act, John Thune and others have essentially said they won't bring that particular legislation to a floor vote. This is a little different. They've kind of blended it into a spending bill here. What do you think ends up happening here?
Well, they put 3 things into it, and 2 of them are going to hurt Democrats if they campaign the right way. One of them is bullets and bombs. You got to do that to finish this thing off. But they put some provisions of the Save America Act in there that the parliamentarian would not rule negative. So it's part politics, like what John said. It's part strategy. It's part November elections. But it's getting people's vote on certain aspects of what's going on in the country and whether they support it or not. Now they will campaign on saying, well, Democrats don't want to win the war because they all voted against it. They don't care about verified voter data, and then they've got the gift handed to them from New Jersey the other day. So it was a good deal to pass it. It'll never get through the Senate because John Thune probably won't even call it up because he's a wimp and needs to be gone. But it was a good move.
He'll be primaried. He'll be primaried.
Oh yeah, it's a good move for the House coming up into these elections in November, and they've got it recorded. Democrats can't say nothing. They can't spin it. Say, well, we didn't want to do this. We didn't want to do that. That's why we voted against the military. And I mean, damn, you vote against the U.S. military, it's going to be hard to win an election.
Well, against that backdrop of Tuesday's floor vote, President Trump participated in the dignified transfer of the remains of service members killed in the Middle East conflict yesterday. Trump referred to them as great heroes as he saluted during the ceremony. And in a tribute that received significant coverage Wednesday, Trump flew the family of First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, the 25-year-old from Ua Beach, Hawaii, who was killed by Iranian fire at Mufak Salti Air Base in Jordan on Air Force One. Trump paid an emotional tribute to Feehan and his family during the flight, describing him as a remarkable young man who gave everything in service to his country. The contrast between these two images on the same day, a House floor vote where a budget chairman declares just bullets and bombs to finish the job, and a president carrying a fallen soldier's family home on the presidential aircraft captures something real and important about the full picture of this conflict. The war is an abstraction, and a budget resolution is not an abstraction on Air Force One with Tyler Feehan's family. The civilian infrastructure dimension of this conflict continues to escalate. Both the United States and Iran have now struck civilian energy and infrastructure targets, a threshold that the initial military campaign was specifically designed to avoid. The war has cost approximately $30 billion. The United States has fired more than 850 Tomahawk Cruise Missiles, more than any previous war in American history, at $3.6 million each. The Senate returns next week, and the reconciliation process will either move or stall depending on whether Mitch McConnell's absence and Lindsey Graham's death have diminished Republican vote math to the point where Johnson's narrow margin cannot hold it any longer. Craig, the same day that the House is voting on this $95 billion budget for the war, and President Trump flying the Feehan family home on Air Force One, both things are the real war. The budget resolution is policy. The Feehan family is the cost sometimes. $30 billion spent, 850 plus Tomahawks fired, more as of right now because we know that they're continuing to bomb Tehran today. Both sides now hitting civilian infrastructure. What is the accountability mechanism that connects the budget vote in Washington to the families on Air Force One and those who are currently in harm's way?
Democrats are only focused on the money spent. They're not focused on winning the war, but they hardly ever are focused on winning the war. They're just campaigning, like I've said a million times. They just fight for headlines. People don't remember that in the Arab world, desalination plants are offline, meaning nobody can target them because they're in such a drought. Most of their water, over 90% of their water, comes from desalination plants. Well, Iran hit one in Kuwait and another in Bahrain. Yeah, they hit Bahrain in Kuwait. So they've ramped up the war now. And I looked all this up last night. Iran's got 100 desalination plants. They're in a 6-year drought. They're thinking about moving the capital of Iran south to the ocean and making Tehran no longer the capital of Iran. So if we really wanted to win and end it, of course, it would be terrible. We would start hitting we would never hit their desalination plants because people would start dying in a few days. But if we hit their electronic infrastructure that would stop the desalination plants working for a little bit, it'd be a lot easier to rebuild those than the complicated desalination plants. But one of these days, all these countries that Iran is attacking, they're attacking their civilian infrastructure now. They're no longer hitting military bases. U.S. military bases, those guys are going to start fighting back. And is Saudi Arabia going to take on the Houthis for cutting off the Red Sea?
Yeah, I all questions that I think have to be answered. John, when you articulated this a little bit, and I'm going to say something here in a second, but do you feel like this administration should at least tell us what their clear objectives are at this point? Because if it's not regime change, and I'll just be quite honest, I don't know why we're afraid of saying that. I understand that
because it's never worked.
We don't want to say that, but it has worked. We got rid of Hitler in Nazi Germany, right?
He attacked everybody first.
It doesn't matter. So did Iran, and so I mean, I think at this point, if we're not in the business of regime change, then what are we doing at this point? Do you agree, John?
Absolutely. I mean, when we started this war out, I think most of us, I'm 51 years old, so Iran had chanted death to America most of my life.
Whole life, yeah.
Okay, so I think when we first started off with it and we bombed Iran, it did make sense. Most of the other presidents really, what Trump said, they really didn't. They had the option to do it, but they never did it. They never did it, and Iran kept coming along with a nuclear weapon. I think they'd say they have it and they don't have it, and it's kind of at the playing Russian roulette. With Trump holding the gun, eventually the bullet's going to come after you when you don't do what you say. So I think that looking through all of it, it makes very little sense. It makes very little sense of what now the objective is, because I think we've all heard countless times they have no Navy, they have no Army. What do they have? And then further, I look a little bit further. I mean, I've got a little bit of studies in Middle Eastern history. Regardless, even if we go in and we got rid of every person there, there's an insurgency waiting right now. There's probably about 10 of them, to be honest. There's about 10 tribes that are all trying to figure out who's going to bond with who to support who. And all we got to do is look back to Iraq. Remember when we got rid of Iraq's leadership, which we thought was a good decision, but Saddam at least kept all the Iraqis in line.
That was a lie. That whole war was a lie.
It just went, but look how many you had in there. You had all sorts of different people trying to come in, and the Kurds trying to make sure that the Sunnis and the Shiites and everybody else was taken care of and paid back. It just didn't work.
Well, I will give my take, and I want to say something directly about the contrast between the two images that we see here, because I think it matters. The House floor is the easiest thing a legislator does in a time of war. You cast a vote, you issue a statement, you go home, right? The Feehan family boarding Air Force One is the hardest thing that happens in a time of war. Those things are in the same story. The budget, the budget vote matters. The SAVE Act provisions will deliver the news cycle for days. The procedural status of the Senate reconciliation will be analyzed by every political reporter in Washington. And none of it will feel like Tyler Feehan's family flying home from a dignified transfer ceremony. None of it will be real. The administration owes it to the country and every family like the Feehans right now, and my friends who are going to be over in this mess in the near future. There needs to be a clear articulation of what the objective of this military campaign is at this point moving forward and how we're going to achieve it. That answer has not been given to the specificity that we require at this moment. Listen, I'm all for the president has the ultimate right to finish how things are going to happen. But we're in a war now, and we need to hear from our leaders how this is going to be fixed. That hasn't happened at this point. And I think that's just something that needs to happen relatively quickly.
Well, they're never going to tell. Am I echoing?
I think it's me.
Oh. They're never going to tell how they're going to be in war. The reporters can ask all day long, what's your plan in the war? What's the win? But they're so against anything he does. I don't remember saying, how are you going to beat Iraq? How are you going to beat Afghanistan? It's a whole different world today in media. And we're just going to have to go and win and be done with it. But I don't think they're not going to let us. They're not going to let us.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It truly is. Well, obviously we will come back to that. John, you still haven't. Are you able to hear us at all, John?
I get kind of a echo from myself.
Sounding like this.
Try going out and back in.
Well, let's just see. Jen says everyone's echoing, so
Oh.
we'll all try to clear that up at this point. Now that I've got a noise suppressor on this, we'll see if that clears it up at all. So as we're working on the sound here, along with everything else,
You're good.
from the floor of the house and the tarmac of military airfield to something that affects your dinner table, because two separate food safety crises are unfolding simultaneously. And if you live in Kentucky, or if you shop at Kroger or Brookshire's, you need to hear what we're about to tell. There are two separate food safety stories breaking this week that affect families across the country. We're going to take them seriously because this is exactly the kind of information that matters in our households. First, Cyclospora is a microscopic parasite that causes a gastrointestinal illness called cyclosporiasis. It spreads through the contaminated food or water, not person to person. Symptoms include all sorts of terrible things that you've heard already, and usually will end up sending you to the hospital because you'll need to be rehydrated. And you tend to have an exposure of about 10 days that it can hit you. The 2026 outbreak is significant. As of the most recent available data, more than 11,000 confirmed or probable cases of cyclosporiasis have been reported to the CDC so far this year. To put that in context, the United States saw approximately 2,700 cases in all of 2025. We've already had 5 times more just in the last month. We're well beyond that already, and it is only July. The CDC on July 16th announced a specific cluster linked to shredded iceberg lettuce served at Taco Bell locations in 5 states: Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia. Kentucky is on that list. They originally said it came from Taylor Farms. Oops, our bad. It wasn't Taylor Farms. Real sorry about that, but it's not. On July 17th, Taylor Farms de Mexico, the producer, recalled all iceberg lettuce sources from central Mexico. The recall covers products distributed to 27 states and includes 2 Walmart products, specifically Market Side iceberg salad in 12 and 24 ounce packages, and Market Side shredded lettuce in 8 and 16 ounces. If you have those, throw them out or return them for a refund. If you have eaten at a Taco Bell in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, or West Virginia, and you have developed any terrible signs that are not normal to your Taco Bell experiences, then talk to your doctor first. That's the most important thing. Get treated. Mention Cyclospora specifically. Standard panels will be done, and you can have that go from there. I'll let you talk to your doctors about that. Craig, 11,000 cases this year versus 2,700 for all of last year. Kentucky is one of the 5 states in the primary cluster. The original Taylor Farms recall, then they said, oops, our bad, it wasn't Taylor Farms. And the specific note for doctors: tell your patients to ask for Cyclospora testing if you have symptoms. What is the takeaway for families right now on how to protect themselves if they have eaten or been around these particular foods? As a restaurant owner.
We start over egg. So as soon as it's over the trash.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed. We don't bag lettuce ever because it seems all these bacteria outbreaks or whatever they are always occur in the bag lettuce area. So we just go, don't eat that. And it shows the importance of keeping your food facilities super clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the number one thing, keeping your area or your processing the food that you ingest. Keep it clean as humanly possible.
John, have you been to Taco Bell recently? Are you feeling okay?
I have Taco Bell about once every 2 months. Right now I'm kind of between visits, so I think I'm safe.
All right. Well, good to know. Good. I mean, it's good to know, really. The other aspect of this that just came out, although, by the way, when you're ready to go back, Taco Bell is offering a $1 lettuce-free deal amid the Cyclospora outbreak. If you are real, I don't know, you want to live life on the edge, literally. I mean, there's your chance, right? Separate from the Cyclospora situation, the FDA announced this week that Midwest Poultry Services has voluntarily recalling approximately 1.6 million dozen eggs. That is 1.589 million dozen
I'm
eggs.
going to stop for a second.
Okay. Over concerns of potential contamination with Salmonella enteriditis. These eggs were produced at Midwest Poultry Services Texas farms between June 6th and July 3rd of this year. The sell-by on these and best buy dates on these carbon range from July 20th through August 17th, 2026. So eggs that you would have just bought. That means some of these eggs are sitting on store shelves right now or already in your refrigerator, and they are still within their date window. This is not a historical concern. This is a current one. The eggs were distributed to food services and retail customers across Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana, and were sold under several names, including Kroger, Simple Truth, Brookshire's, Country Morning, and SunUp's. Specific retail chains that have been mentioned already. Kroger is the big one, especially here. If you did just buy those, take them for a full refund or come back. Looks like we got Craig back. We'll see if we have any.
Let's see. Still got echo. When I do a standalone thing, there's no echo.
It is still echoing now. And I can hear my echo.
Yeah. Might be on your end, Kyle.
I can't hear Kyle perfectly fine, though.
Right. It's us getting to him to go out.
How about now?
Test. Yep, good.
Craig sounds fine. I sound fine.
Yep, we're good.
There we go.
Whatever you change.
It's hard being a genius.
All I did was just punch a bunch of numbers, just like you do at your office, right? Everybody just got it figured out, and you're just like hit a bunch of buttons, boom.
Okay, we're good again. So rock on.
All right.
Let's go back to Taco Bell again.
Yeah, so Taco Bell sucks. John hasn't been there lately. He's feeling okay. 1.6 million dozen eggs. So that's do the math right there, right? So that's 14 million eggs.
So Teresa, throw our eggs out.
That's right.
Now.
Jen, I know you can hear me, Jen. Jen says to start the whole thing over. Even our fans don't want to do that, but we appreciate that. Look, there we go. We got it. We appreciate you for letting us know. Jen says, now start over. Only my wife would be so sweet to say that. The short answer is this. Taco Bell is offering a $1 lettuce-free deal amid the Cyclospora. If you want to go and risk it, nearly 1.6 million cartons of eggs have now been recalled over salmonella concerns. And if you have any of those and you bought them from Kroger, you need to go ahead and remove them. You can take it back for a refund, or you can. Jen doesn't want to throw any eggs away.
You don't want to go to the hospital.
Hey, listen. I don't know how it is in your all's family. I'm gonna tell on our family a little bit. Jen loves breakfast, but Jen doesn't eat breakfast at breakfast. So we have at least once a week we have breakfast at dinner time.
So do we.
So Jen doesn't want to get rid of the eggs because Jen wants to make, like French toast and all sorts of stuff. So
this disease, Kyle, it causes explosive. That's the term they use. Explosive diarrhea.
I mean, it's just not something that sounds great. I will also say, my 21-year-old Olivia, poor thing, she got this, and so she's actually down right now, and she thought that it was like a cartoon how bad it was. Yeah, she had to actually go to the hospital. I hope she's feeling better today.
Drink lots of fluid, lots of water.
That's exactly what we need to do. So, but if you have those, remove them from your house. If you want to live life on the edge, then you go get that meal deal.
On the toilet seat.
I know people right now who are like, "There's a deal, I'll risk it. I'll do it."
$1 each.
$1, less than $1. It's only,
the eggs are 18 cents each.
Yeah, but we're talking about the deal at.
The lettuce. They're talking the lettuce-free.
The lettuce-free deal.
That would probably give me explosive diarrhea as well. But it would be a race.
The reason I don't go to Taco Bell is you get 1 ounce of meat. That was years ago. I bought a bunch for the family, and I took him up and I said, "Dude, where's the beef?" And he started laughing. He goes, "Corporate policy, 1 ounce of meat per taco." I said, "Well, I'm done." I said, "I'm not paying for lettuce and 3 shreds of cheese."
Yo quiero Taco Bell. I don't know what to tell you. They need to get it together because I got to make a run at some point, get some. So and you know the joke is
literally and figuratively.
Exactly,
yeah, right.
Literally making a run. Yeah. Well, let's move on from the disgustingness of that nonsense. The University of New Hampshire Survey Center. I'm going to try to get through this.
They want to be called the Granite State Poll. That's
right.
New Hampshire.
The Granite State Poll. Right. Well, I'm going to try to get through this without laughing. So we'll see if I can accomplish it.
I love it myself as
well.
The
Granite State Poll released its latest polling this week, and the results tell a clear story about the 2028 Democratic primary and where it stands right now, at least in New Hampshire, which holds the nation's first presidential primary and has historically served as a meaningful bellwether for where Democratic voters are headed. Among likely Democratic primary voters, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez leads the field with 22%. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is essentially tied at 21%. Then you get Senator Mark Kelly, whose name has come up a little bit, but not as much as before. The retired astronaut stands at 9%. Former Governor Gavin Newsom is waning in the polls at 8%.
Pull the graphic up.
Yeah, I will absolutely do that. Senator Bernie Sanders, who I believe will be 84 years old.
He's well over 80, yeah.
Yeah, at the time that the election occurs, is polling in at 6%. And then in the number that arguably defines what this poll means, former vice presidential candidate, or former Vice President Kamala Harris and former 2024 Democratic nominee, who received 81 million votes in that race, is at 5%. Ocasio-Cortez gained 7 points since the UNH survey in February. Harris and Newsom have both lost ground. The UNH survey center's director, Andrew Smith, offered this framing of what the coalition looks like. Quote, nearly half of socialists and 1/3 of progressives support Ocasio-Cortez, while pluralities of liberals and moderates support Buttigieg. That is a succinct picture of what the 2028 Democratic primary could become: a left versus center contest between a 36-year-old congresswoman from the Bronx and a former cabinet secretary who ran for president in 2020. Ocasio-Cortez has been anything but invisible in the lead up to these numbers. She has been traveling the country on the Fighting Oligarchy tour.
With Bernie.
I love their last reunion tour, the Fighting the Oligarchy tour, with Bernie Sanders. She attended a Michigan rally for Democratic Senate candidates, connecting to battleground state politics in exactly the way a person who intends to run for president would. When asked about her growing polling strength, her response was characteristically careful. I feel very deeply flattered and humbled. I don't want to discount how supportive people have been. It genuinely is very meaningful. End quote. John. AOC's at 22%. Buttigieg is at 21%. Harris is nowhere to be seen at this point. Looks like Gavin Newsom and that mirage may be waning as well. We didn't hear Andy Beshear's name in any of these numbers. In fact, he's polling at a solid 1% now.
In New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Is this poll a real signal about where the party's headed in the next 2 years? Or is it too early to read anything, and all we're hearing are the people who are getting excited about these different races?
I think it's nothing but just a shiny object to get everybody else off the real candidates. I really do. Like, I don't see Shapiro on there anywhere.
No.
I don't see him from Pennsylvania in there.
Yeah, he's 2%. He's below John Ossoff, 2 below Kamala Harris.
Gotcha. Yeah, 2%. I mean, when I look at it, he makes much more sense to me. You're
right,
moderate.
But remember, he's Jewish. Democrats don't like Jews.
You know, but that's him. That's on him. You know, that's really on him if he can manage to stay in a party that doesn't want to support him.
I agree. Fetterman doesn't understand.
Great state. That's a great statement.
Exactly. Fetterman doesn't understand, and and I think there's a lot more of them in the party that are just rank and file Democrats that just just want a little bigger government and just want things moderate. And they're literally letting the tail wag the dog. They truly are. I mean, in the far, well, no, it's on the far right of us, right? Well, we definitely don't listen to anything they have to say.
Right.
But for some reason, and they've gained power through whatever a Democrat socialist is. They've gained power to where they might come in and they're not going to do anything. The main DNC money is not going to follow them. They're not. You had people I think I saw Bill Maher came on and said there's no way that he would support an AOC. And you're like, wait a minute. If they lose Bill Maher, how many more Democrats do they have that just lost?
Bill Maher said the other day, and I've got the video, I could have sent it, but said that his vote is in play, John.
Yeah, he told JD Vance that.
He said, my vote is in play.
And I think the best thing the Republican Party can do is not do any of this stuff. At least wait until, and I know they got to start campaigning onto it. And, I think most of us have, if you ask most Republicans that have any knowledge of politics, that you would say, who would you like as the next president? I think we all have a person that we would say who it is. Like, I have no problem. I think Marco Rubio. That's what I think. Now, if they put them out there, they will literally get bashed for the next 3 years and torn down. So I think the Democrat Party realizes that, and they put AOC and Bashir up there as the sacrificial lambs to get beaten down for the next 2 years. And then the money of the party swoops in like it did with Miss Kamala and say, listen, this is who we really support. And it's going to end up being Gavin Newsom. And I don't know who else. That's who I think. I think they want Gavin Newsom for
Kamala
some reason.
Kamala Harris is leading nationally on cumulative polls that were just released. She's still easily the national leader. But everything starts in New Hampshire. Remember how Bernie Sanders got screwed twice. He win New Hampshire, he win another state. But here's a little minor thing.
Oh, I don't think it's minor. I know where you're going with that. I don't think it's minor at all. Within the Democrat Party, that's it exactly. The blacks want South Carolina as the first primary state, and the Latinos want Nevada. Latinos are supporting AOC, and the blacks want Kamala Harris to win first because they all know. That's why they changed this all up. When they had Iowa, New Hampshire, and I forget the third state. Do you remember, Kyle? And then South Carolina was 4. Yeah. Iowa and New Hampshire.
Bernie won the first 3 states twice. And then they used South Carolina to shut him down. And so he's got screwed twice. Why he even does anything with the Democrat Party?
With South Carolina, where Biden surge in South Carolina?
But Bernie won the first 3 states going away. And then Senator Clyburn came out and said Joe Biden's the best thing since sliced bread. And then he won the next 46 primaries. They pushed Bernie aside. They didn't want his socialism back then. But now it's grown so powerful, they have to look at it and accept it. And, I don't think I sent the video to Kyle, but where Hassan Piker is lambasting the college Democrats of America, saying, we're done with the Democrat Party. We're basically taking it over.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Hassan Piker at that event also was discussing his 2028 picks for president. And I'll just go right into that. Good segue, by the way. The polling movement was accompanied by an endorsement of sorts that tells you something important about who is driving AOC's numbers at this point. Hassan Piker, a left-wing political commentator and Twitch streamer with
far left wing.
Yeah. This is the guy who thinks this is the guy who thinks Cuba is a good model for the United States.
He throws lightning bolts at Democrats, not at Republicans, at Democrats.
Oh no. He's one of the most influential voices in the progressive media ecosystem that shapes opinion among younger Democrat primary voters. He was a big supporter of Zohran Mamdani. In an interview this week, Piker was presented with a rapid-fire list of potential Democrat candidates, beginning with Gavin Newsom and Rahm Emanuel, and working through Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Jon Ossoff, J.B. Pritzker, Chris Van Hollen, and Ro Khanna. At each name he passed, when Ocasio-Cortez was presented, he said he stopped. Quote, AOC is out of all the people that you mentioned, AOC is the only one that I would like, end quote. When pressed, he said it was not even a question. He acknowledged that her race and gender could present electoral obstacles, but dismissed the argument that they would make her impossible to elect. The Piker endorsement matters less as a formal political act. He has no delegates, and more as a signal of which direction the progressive media infrastructure is orientating towards in 2028. The UAW signal matters more institutionally. Sean Fain, the president of the United Auto Workers Union, told Axios this week, and this is not a small thing right here. He said that I believe that actually he says he believes AOC could definitely win a state like Michigan and could win the White House.
Yeah, she could win Michigan, no doubt.
I believe she could. Fain said it's going to come down to who working class people believe is going to represent their interests, which is hilarious to me that working class people would look at all to the Democrat Party at this point. It makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
For center right viewers, the UAW's positioning on a 2028 Democratic primary candidate is a legitimate early signal about which candidate Labor sees as having a genuine working class appeal. A girl named Sandy from the suburbs of New York, where she grew up very wealthy. Your typical Democrat socialist who is here for all the people. John, your thoughts on Sandy coming in and being able to carry the working class and be that working class vote, and you as a moderate right-leaning person, are you taking Hassan Piker's his suggestion and going ahead sending your money into AOC for Brez?
So I guess you probably called on me because you just read my face.
The blood's draining out of
it. You're good. You're the guest. We're being polite.
That's right.
Thanks, Greg. When you hear somebody like Hassan Piker and his opinion matters to somebody, and you hear just like how bad of an opinion it truly is, I don't understand why all he does is get clicks, because that's the world that he's in. He's in the Twitter world. I think when it comes down to
that's today's politics, though.
I get it, but when it comes down to your average everyday voter that is getting up, going to work, coming home, having dinner, watching something on TV, going to bed, and getting up the next day and starting it all over again, most of them realize, because all you have to do is listen to her talk, that AOC has no business at all pretty much being where she is now. Definitely not being president. So I can't see the money following her. I think at a certain point you would see Hollywood even halfway turn on her as well. As a Republican, I think I'm like, let's see it. I hope so. I mean, I hope that's who they would put up, because
Sandy,
everybody wants her to put them up.
Sandy from Yorktown Heights. Get Sandy from Yorktown Heights in here.
It's just absolutely it's preposterous, and it's kind of the same thing. Craig mentioned it a while ago. As far as the Democrats retaking the Senate and the House, and that being a legitimate talk about, I can't see that either, because most of us coming from the last election are, when are the Democrats going to change their opinions? When are they going to change? When are they going to get in with the 80-20 issues? They keep taking the 20 issue. And they haven't. They've actually kind of dug their heels in a great deal.
I agree.
I mean, you've got the guy Booker here in Kentucky that says when he wins, the first thing he's going to do is impeach Trump. I mean, like that's the first thing you're going to do is, that's your goal of getting in there. That's.
But they're here for working class families. They don't have any ideas for working class families.
But for the last 12 years, all the Democrats have done and have had to focus on is hating Donald Trump. Even when he wasn't in office, fighting, that's all they've got to focus on. I think the Democrat Party is going to struggle mightily to find the next villain that they're going to be able to do, because they've ran that course. Not every Republican is a racist. They already that went through in the last election as well. Not every Republican dislikes Hispanics. I mean, my heavens, look! I mean, Trump carried and won with a platform that he was going to deport people that you weren't here legally.
He got 45% of the Hispanic vote.
Yeah.
So when you have the Democrats like to tell you how to feel, and I think Republicans, one of the advantages we have, is we're fine with how we feel. We're all able to have our own opinions, but a Democrat, they want to tell you how to feel, and they want to say, well, if you're not far left enough, well, you're left, but you're not far left enough. Well, we don't want you at all then. I think we saw that with the same thing in the early 2000s with the Tea Party. And how far did the Republican Party get with that? We had to literally back up. We had to come back together. We had to realize, okay, we can't just say no to every single thing. And I think that's something the left is going to have to embrace.
How about this idea, John? And we've talked about this a lot. That I mean, the Democrat socialists and the communists and all. There are actual communists in America. It's actually it's okay if you're a communist. You can have those opinions. That's the great thing about being in America. But the communists and the Democrat socialists of America, they are coming out now, and they're being very blatant about it. They're saying we are using the Democrat Party as a vehicle to get where we want. We have no desire to work with the Democrat people, to caucus with the Democrats, to do anything once we get in power. We are going to destroy the Democrat Party from within. And they're being very honest about it. I mean, good for them for being honest about it. But as a Democrat, why are you even entertaining this anymore? If you are a Clinton Democrat, or what I would call a Frankfort Democrat, somebody who has been Democrat their whole life, they don't know why they're a Democrat, but they know that their parents were Democrats, their grandparents are Democrats, so they have to vote Democrat. Why would you continue to support the radical left that has said that they have no interest in working with you or for you?
The Democrat socialists, when you look at it, I think they want to get rid of the Senate.
Yes.
What bothers me most, and I'm sure you as well, because we have the same degree, I don't think they really know what a Democrat socialist is, especially when you add the socialist part on the back of it. Because if you really were to ask, okay, listen, you went around calling everybody fascist, and I'm firmly committed that nobody knew what a fascist was, considering just how the Democrat Party did the last election.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really understand the Democrat socialist, how it works. Look at Mondami. Look at New York City. I think they had the free grocery store was open for 24 hours or whatever it was. The age old saying is everybody loves socialism until you run out of money.
Yeah.
And you run and
run out of everybody else's money.
You run out of everybody else's money. It's to me they're literally giving legitimacy. If the Democrat Party would have just said, listen, that's lunacy, we're not dealing with that. There's nowhere, it would have gone away. But instead, you have people from other countries that have come here, like Michigan, and I think we all know why AOC would win Michigan, that has a large Somali population, that has a large Muslim population. Yeah, you're going to have those people interjected into our government that are then going to want our government ran that way, the way it ran in their country that they left. And it's not a bit surprising.
It's
I
not.
can't believe we don't have a Chinese person. I cannot believe there's not a legitimate. I don't mean the guy from Hawaii either, or Phil, whatever his name is, from California. I mean a legitimate Chinese person that was born in China is one of our. I can't believe that we don't have it yet.
Give it time. Give it time. I mean, because they can tout that. Look how successful China has been over the last 30 years.
Sure.
It's just a matter of time. The other aspect of this, I think that a lot of people are missing, is that while they're over there arguing, and they hate Donald Trump, and everybody's a maggot, and you all are awful, and they're throwing names and everything, people are leaving the Democrat Party at alarming rates, even for the Republican Party, because they're not all becoming Republicans. Many of them are becoming independent or Green Party or all sorts of other things, but they are leaving the Democrat Party at the highest levels in the history of the United States, of the two-party system. They are leaving, and for the first time in Kentucky, there's a Republican majority, even though we have a supermajority in our state houses. But I think in some of these areas that were pretty blue, Minnesota, for example, I think you have a situation where, while all this is going on, the Republicans are coalescing essentially around getting rid of the Mitch McConnells and the Rhinos of the world, and moving forward with the agenda that Trump has put out there. Whether you like it or not, they're at least coalescing around that. And I think while they all fight about who's going to come out of that party, the Republicans are over there like, we got J.D. Vance and Marco ready to go, whenever you all are ready to, pick your, one white male and one non-straight male, or whatever it has to be to fit that other mold you have. And they're ready to sit back and wait for, let them spend a bunch of money, which the DNC doesn't have right now. And
Have they even paid off their last?
They have
paid off
not.
their debt
They
yet?
have not. They have not. They have $20 million. And so it's all things that I think work to the advantage of the Republicans. John, on this show, Craig and I have talked about this. The Senate is lost. I mean, the idea that, Craig, we can talk about this right now if you want to. The idea that they're going to win Maine, that ain't happening. This new guy that they picked may be worse than Graham Plattner was.
Right.
I mean, they're just. Is there no sane person in Maine that can run, or maybe that's it? Maybe they all realize I would never run.
No moderates. They don't have anybody moderate. They just have, and I mean, people have asked me where I'm running, like, are you a MAGA? No, I've got common sense.
Right.
Is there no just like run of the mill common sense person that you all could have, rather than saying, hey, Graham Plattner, he was pretty much running with him. Yeah, let's go with him. He sounds good enough. Yeah. And it's also the blanket endorsements. I mean, did you see any of the blanket, like the endorsements that Pocahontas gave him? Like you literally would
glowing.
You would have thought that he had Sunday dinner with her every week, every Sunday.
Had a beer with her.
But again, right? I mean, it just no. I have absolutely no idea. I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't know. I don't think the DNC knows either. And I think it's your run of the mill Democrat that just that wants the same goals as 80% of the rest of Americans. I think they absolutely have to feel lost, especially when you see Jeffries and Schumer get up there and back these people. If they got up there like, well, yeah, we got like Republicans, we normally go, yeah, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these other, we'd be like, we got some, some loose cannons out there, and they have their opinions. We don't all of a sudden say, yep, what they're saying is true. Yeah, 100%. All that lunacy they're talking about, we 100% agree with it.
Well, the Communist of America guy that they interviewed on, I think Martha McCallum interviewed him earlier this week on Fox News, and she asked him about the free grocery, and she said, what if you open the free grocery and then you put all the bodega owners out of business? Like, and his response was, then maybe they shouldn't have been in business. I'm sorry, what? You're the party of the common man, and that's your response? Is that
they don't know what they are? Better? They have no idea.
A job? That's I don't understand, Craig. When it comes to what you've seen in Maine and what we're seeing now in this infighting in the Democrat Party, what are your thoughts about? You've seen just as many, more presidential campaigns in your lifetime. Do you recognize the Democrat Party now?
Well, I was a Democrat from the time I was 18 till I was 61. And then the Democrat Party left me, that famous saying.
Yep.
But
like I said.
Yeah, Troy, what's his face up in Maine? This guy is he's a misogynist. He yells at women in the legislature. When he led their Senate or House, he threw a water bottle at a female legislator. She became so distraught over it, she didn't run for re-election. Other members of his legislature, he threw a water bottle at her, John. Other members of his legislature started recording him to protect themselves. And in one of the articles, 5 legislators were interviewed by the Washington Post.
Democrat legislators.
And they went anonymous because they feared retribution from him. This guy, he's not a sexist pig like Plattner. He doesn't got a Nazi tattoo or nothing. This dude has got some serious anger issues.
Yeah.
I mean, when you throw bottles, when you yell and curse at your fellow colleagues in the legislature, and then, you wear that solidarity shirt he's been wearing everywhere, that's a load of crap. It's just Hollywood saying, hey, buddy, you need to chill out. But the Washington Post, the Washington Post dug into this guy.
It's not the Daily Wire.
He's almost as big a pig as Graham Plattner. And I don't know what in the crap the Democrats are looking for in Maine as a candidate to take on Susan Collins.
How do they not have anybody better in Maine? Like, Maine's pretty liberal. If you ask me,
they obviously don't check nobody. Yeah, it's
gorgeous, right? But do they not have anybody look at anybody's background like longer than like what's his last name and do like a Google search? Is that essentially their background check?
Well, everybody knows about this guy's demeanor. But you said something a second ago, John, on the Democrat socialist. You know what Democrats don't know what socialist means. Socialists don't care what Democrat is. They just tag that name on there so they can infiltrate the party and then destroy it from within. There are so many videos of Democrat socialists saying, we don't care about the Democrat Party. We're just taking them on. Michigan, Minnesota, Hamtramck, Michigan, Minnesota, El Said's running for Senate.
Listen,
Houston, Texas.
If the
New York.
If the Republican fascist party, if they created something, similar to the Democrat social, if the Republican fascist party came to the Republicans and said, we want to run under your banner, absolutely not. Number one, we would get destroyed by the left, which is hilarious to me,
and the media.
Don't forget the media. But we wouldn't do it because it goes against principle. But they're big tent. We're one big tent. Everybody can come under the big tent, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I can't see them getting majorities. I cannot see them getting majorities. I mean,
John, listen. Look what you see. You can't see them getting majorities. They run Dearborn, Michigan. They run Hamtramck, Michigan. They're about to elect El Said to be their Democrat nominee. They run New York City. They're about ready to take over Houston, Texas. They are doing this. The Democrat socialists are making these moves. People are not realizing what's happening to this country because
they're going to have pop-ups. They're going to have pop-ups where you can get your that one-off voter that's going to vote for you. As far as coming across the country,
right?
I just mean as far as
John, it is going on across the country. It is.
I just don't. I think what John's saying though is that you just won't have a majority when it comes to national federal elections.
Not in our lifetimes. Right. I agree.
No. Right.
Look at right now. You got we lost New York City
for now,
but it's there. Mondami, it's Mondami City now. They're about to elect a senator in Michigan. Their leading Democrat candidate for governor is a Democrat socialist. I've seen all this stuff today. They start on the lower levels and they build up. They continue to run for office, whether they win or not. They're patient. They're way more patient than the Chinese. Like you mentioned, Chinese. Why don't we have any Chinese legislation? That's a great point. Why don't we? Because they've been here a lot longer than the Democrat Socialists of America, the Muslims, and those other things that are gaining ground within the Democrat Party. But man, I tell you, this is, to answer Kyle's question, this is not the Democrat Party that we all grew up with.
It's going to go away. And what I mean by that
is
you can only hide the results for so long. Okay. And it's like what Kyle said, it's like it's new. Like right now, it's Mondami City. It is for now.
It's Mondami City.
Okay. When you look at it, there's no way around it. Okay. They're not going to be able to get the same support with them having those socialist views. All they're going to do is promote their own friends and their own people that have the same views as them, but don't make money for everybody else. So it will take a while. Like you, all of these places you mentioned, Diffie, I don't care where it is, Houston, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, all of those, they're going to get the fruits of their labor. They're going to definitely see what they elected, how bad it gets. And then all of a sudden because I remember a long time with the pension talking around here, we can't have all of our money go into the pension because we have no fire and EMS. Well, we got to pay state troopers. So things have to be paid for. And with them, it makes absolutely no sense as far as how they would literally go to power. They'll run out of money, especially New York City. Mark my words, New York City right now it's their crown jewel because they got New York City. And I could see that. They could see how their party is a success. They took, the New York City, number one city in the United States. I get it. However, they're running it straight into the ground.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
So how bad is it going to be when literally it turns into we have to have martial law in New York City because it gets so far out of hand.
Well, just to pick up the garbage.
Get it? We might. Because Mondami wants this. He wants this kind of stuff,
but it doesn't help it because if you're gonna end up, but then you end up getting a Rudy Giuliani or somebody that is a conservative, that's going to come in, that's going to that pendulum, as far as that pendulum is swung that way, it's going to swing all the way back the other way.
Remember when Giuliani came in, they were having 2,200 murders a year.
Yep.
When he left, they're having less than 300.
Yeah.
Because of the broken windows policy.
Just look
But
at Washington,
Mondami,
D.C.
here, hold on. Mondami, he's talking now about taking property from landlords. That's communism, man.
Yeah,
It's
coming.
communist stuff.
It's coming.
And let that start happening up there. We'll lose New York City. I mean, we won't lose it. I mean, like lose it. It'll fall apart.
What I think is going to happen is these places like New York City. I think New York State and New York City, it'll be red. I think Florida will probably end up being blue. I think California will end up being red. I think Texas will become well more of a toss-up than it ever has been in the next decade. But I think all the people that fled there, fleeing their own policies that they voted for inside and out, took their vote with them.
Yeah.
That's going to be that. Then they wonder why it turned into crap there. They
Well,
have no idea. I mean, it's like,
and you start
voted
taxing
for the same madness there.
You start taxing like the pied-à-terre tax and everything.
Right.
One thing, Craig, that you and I talked about before we have to move on to our next story. We're only halfway through, but one last thing. Jalen Brunson came out this week and said that he is a full-time resident of Miami, Florida, and that he is not a full-time resident of New York, so he's not paying New York income tax.
Right. Just when he plays games in New York City.
Good luck. Good luck.
But what California is trying to go after all the millionaires and billionaires that are leaving that state for Texas, Tennessee, and Florida.
They want you to pay an exit tax to leave their
Billions.
state, which
A retroactive tax.
a retroactive.
Yeah,
right?
that's
If you left in the last 5 years,
that's
100% illegal.
Un-American. Yeah, that'll
100% illegal.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Well, from the 2028 presidential race, we're just getting started on that. We'll have all sorts of fun with that over the next few months. But from the 2028 presidential race to the south side of Chicago, where a company that helped build one of the most celebrated new civic landmarks in the country has shut down, laid off union workers, and filed a legal claim because it says it hasn't been paid, and we will get into it. Weeks after the Obama Presidential Center opened in Jackson Park on Chicago's south side, in a celebration that featured performances by, now don't be too jealous, guys, Bruce Springsteen, Christina Aguilera, John Legend, U2's Bono and The Edge, but not the other two guys, Stevie Wonder, and Common. Mike Owen shut down his company and sent 25 union plumbers home. Owen is the owner of Adamson Plumbing Contractors, a Chicago-based plumbing company that performed work on the center under the name Marsh Adamson. He said he is owed $3.9 million in losses tied to the project from delays, rework, labor overruns, and changing project demands, and that after months of negotiating with Lakeside Alliance, the project's construction manager, he ran out of road. The final death blow, he said, as Owens described it, was a last-minute deal that turned sour. Around the time of the center's opening, Owens said Lakeside Alliance reached an agreement with him, send 2 journeyman plumbers for late-night housekeeping work at premium rates, and in turn, Adamson would receive part of its outstanding payment, approximately $119,000, before the center opened on June 19th, essentially trying to clean everything up before everybody walked in. An email reviewed by Fox News Digital shows a Lakeside representative confirming the payment would be released through Adamson's May billing. Adamson sent the workers, as requested. The payment never arrived. Owen suspended operations on June 25th. We negotiated in good faith, Owen told Fox News Digital. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Not getting that large sum of money just kind of pulled the brakes on the train. It was just the final death blow to the company. Poor guy. He eventually received the $119,000 and $35,000 in change orders after the shutdown. It's almost like it was too little, too late. It probably would have just prolonged the inevitable at this point. Adamson has now filed a $1.72 million mechanics lien against the Obama Presidential Center property, a legal claim alleging the company was not fully paid for completed work. Owen says he still intends to pursue the full $3.9 million figure through his legal team. Fellas, what are we doing? What are we doing that the working class president, the president that was elected twice, that he was taking care of all of America's working class, giving them health care, everything else, and we don't and we're having Stevie Wonder and Bruce Springsteen and U2 there, but you can't pay the guys who built the thing. What are we doing here?
You want me to go, John, or you want to go?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Not only, this was a union minority built building. It looks like a prison, but this guy with the $4 million debt is not the only one. A lot of minority contractors also lost all kinds of money, have not been paid, and have gone out of business. Smaller companies, which was the bragging point of this thing, was we're going to let minority operators, we're going to let union labor build this, and then not pay them, apparently. And also, something to look for down the road, the Obama group, whatever this is, they were supposed to raise $475 million and keep it in a bank account to do ongoing maintenance. Well, the Obama Presidential Library Group, all they put up was that initial $1 million, and there's not been any money put up since.
Yeah.
So after a few years, and it gets wore out, and it was supposed to be free. You got to pay to go in there.
They can't keep the bears there. They're not going to keep this thing up to date.
Yeah, and it's going to fall. It's going to fall apart. They got the land for $10 for 99 years. They got a land lease for $10 for 99 years. But it's going to, in 2 or 3 years, stuff's going to start wearing out. They're not going to have money to pay anybody. And after not paying these contractors now, good luck finding somebody to come work on it.
Well, and just to add salt to the wounds, Adamson Plumbing is not an isolated case. A previous Fox News digital investigation found multiple subcontractors who reported financial trouble after working on the Obama Presidential Center. This is a bad look. This is a really, really bad look, especially in the heart of Chicago, including several Black-owned firms that the project was specifically designed and promoted to support. The largest dispute currently involves the Concrete Collective, which is interesting because the entire building is concrete.
I like to think Concrete Collective. That's socialism.
Collective.
That's
it looks like a socialist building, which is seeking more than $40 million in additional compensation. The Obama Presidential Center was heavily marketed as an economic opportunity for small and minority-owned businesses on the south side of Chicago, a flagship example of how a major construction project could lift the community. It was built for the experience of multiple contractors, including Black-owned firms. The project was designed to benefit, raises significant questions about whether the promise was ever kept. Mike Owen raised a double standard argument that deserves something, at least a little bit of attention. When asked why the situation had not generated more public pressure, he didn't mince words. You guys will love this one. Quote, "There would be holy hell to pay if this was Elon Musk or Ken Griffin, the Chicago billionaire whose name is on the neighboring Griffin Museum of Science and Industry, also the target of Mamdani's stupid tax. They would be picketing. They would be storming the castle." Owen specifically called out Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who markets himself as a champion of organized labor, for saying nothing publicly about union companies being stiffed on this. He goes on to say the joint venture led by Turner Construction and 4 Black-owned Chicago firms said in its last statement that contractual closeout continues long after the doors have opened on major projects and that it remains committed to working through all outstanding matters. So that's sweet of them. The Obama Foundation said Lakeside was responsible for managing and paying subcontractors, and that it operated within a 15-day payment cycle, largely unheard of in major construction projects. Owen was not convinced. Quote, "It's become perfectly obvious to me that the ownership group there, they truthfully just don't care." Few numbers that provide context for all of this. The center's construction costs, you guys will love this. You guys are all business guys. The construction costs were initially projected at approximately $350 million.
This is astounding what you're getting ready to read.
By 2021, remember, $350 million. By 2021, they had climbed to $830 million, and now they have reportedly passed $1.1 billion. The 19.3...
Where is that money at?
Yeah. The 19.3 Jackson Park site was secured through a 99-year lease requiring that one-time $10 payment that you mentioned, and promised $470 million reserves intended to protect Chicago taxpayer if the center encounters financial trouble. Well, that whole promise, $1 million has been deposited. Owen summed up his situation with a line that's hard to argue with, saying, quote, my career, it's funny. I'm going to have to go find a job, which is fine. It's just that I did not anticipate the completion of this project would take this turn. John, not to put you on the on the hot seat here, but you're getting ready to run for a local public office, and you make a promise like this that we're going to build something, and it's not going to cost you, the taxpayer, any money. Not hinting that that's an actual project that may be being considered built in Franklin County. But if it was, that is a trust of the public that you are asking them for and giving them, and then turning around in short order and not even depositing. That wouldn't even be 1%.
Less than 1%.
It's a quarter
like
of 1% of what,
0.25%.
of what's owed. How do you, as someone who wants to be a leader of a community, how do you balance that?
Well, I think in this instance, you had, because it was President Obama and it was coming from Illinois, I think you had a lot of people who just wanted to be part of the process. So you had all these bids that went in and everybody that wanted to do it. And I think mismanagement, and I mean, you got to figure, I mean, President Obama left office 10 years ago, so when we look at how far
he left office when Joe Biden left office. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, but to look at it's taken this long, to get there.
Yeah.
So think of the officials that were in office then that are not in office now, that made those promises, that made all that sort of stuff. I don't know how. I mean, when you look at the state of Illinois, it's pretty much red, other than Chicago.
Other than Chicago.
And there's another city in there.
Peoria.
Maybe. Anyway, there's two of them, right? But the rest of the state is red. And when you look at all the people that wanted to be part of it, I think it's absolutely a shame that they don't pay their bills for it. Because that means if it says it's 1.1 billion, that's what they're saying it is. Well, how many things aren't paid? I mean, is there another $200 million of unpaid invoices? Well, that adds up at some point. But I don't know.
It's already added up.
I mean, J.B. Pritzker's, I mean, he is absolutely despicable. The mayor of Chicago, he's absolutely, like Brandon Johnson. Absolutely. He is despicable as well. They all live in a dream world. I mean, Pritzker's a billionaire. Brandon Johnson won't be able to be president of his HOA when he comes down as being mayor. He's doing such a bad job. I mean, again, Chicago is going to be, like we talked earlier, Chicago is going to be another city that ends up being rescued by Republicans. And I hate to say it, but reaching that here into Frankfort, it's a matter of lying to your voters and then coming out and doing the exact opposite. Unfortunately, we see it here as well.
Well, let me ask y'all this. That building started out at $350 million, which I thought was just ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
Over $1 billion. Where in the heck is that $650 million? What did they add that cost $650 million?
So I saw I'm sorry,
no, go ahead, because I got a part two of this.
No, I saw that they literally for every directive they had, there was like 6 change orders to that directive. So pretty much the change orders nonstop was what caused the increase of that. And it would be because they wouldn't, from what I understand, they would inspect like that wall there, and they're like, well, we need the pipes to be over here because we're latching it over here, so they'd have to change it. So I heard that there was like 6 change orders for every directive order that they had. So if you look at doing something 6 times, they may have gotten a discount for only
right.
That article Kyle read said, so the taxpayers of Illinois don't, because they haven't met that $470 million commitment, so the taxpayers of Illinois wouldn't have to maintain this. This is a presidential library. This isn't an Illinois presidential library. It's a Barack. Why would the Illinois taxpayers have to spend a penny on this for upkeep for the next 40 years?
Well, they shouldn't. And I think that's the whole thing. Is that
article, I've read it 2 or 3 times. It'll fall back on the Illinois taxpayer.
Oh, it will. You bet your butt it will. But the reality was they were supposed to raise this $450 million that was going to go into this, and not only did they not raise it, they only put in a quarter of 1% of what they needed for it, and now they still haven't paid maybe what $2,500 million and people that haven't been paid. These are small businesses. Listen, I understand $4 million sounds like it is a lot of money
for a company.
For some of these small businesses, when you have 25 union guys that have been working on a project, for a couple of years, and then you also have overhead costs, and by the way, that's also all the stuff you're buying to put in this thing as well. So there's markup of costs and all these other things that go into it. So a small business with only 30 employees, that's an HVAC company, they can, or a plumbing company or anything else, easily do $4 million. And they are close if they don't receive that $4 million from some of these people using it all.
Remember, it's built in a minority area of Chicago so that the minorities could go see the library. Remember, I said it was started out free. Actually, now 12 and above is $30.
Fair.
2 to 12 is $23. Now, what 3-year-old is going to pay attention? And 0 to 2 is free, and they have free Tuesdays. So unless everybody in that area goes on Tuesdays, I mean, think about it.
They should put a Taco Bell in it while they're at it.
Think about it. You know, if just you and your wives go, that's $60 just to go view the Obama library. And if you drag your kids along, you're talking Disney World prices now.
My kids would hate me taking
that.
Took my kids to Greenfield Village up in Detroit, and they thought I would beating them into the past.
Right, but still, just the cost of it when it was supposed to be for the people. Yeah. And that's why Illinois gave them all that acreage for $10 for 100 years. Man, what a scam the Obama people ran on the state of Illinois.
Scammy. Let's move on before people start throwing stuff at us. But South Carolina, the filing window for the South Carolina Republican special primary election to fill Lindsey Graham's seat now is in its third day. The window opened Tuesday, July 21st, and closes Monday, July 28th. The primary is August 11th with a runoff on August 25th if no candidate clears a majority. Mark Lynch, the upstate businessman who ran against Graham in June and finished second, is the only candidate who had formally announced until earlier today, and it looks like there may be like 3 others that have announced. But interestingly enough, Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene Graham, said on the 20th, on Monday, in an interview, that she now is preparing to file. And even though she said she wasn't going to file,
right?
They are not, of all the people that have been polled on this, the one person who leads everybody and has said he's not interested.
Trey Gowdy.
Yep,
our favorite.
I don't I mean, I get it. I understand Trey Gowdy spent time in the House, doesn't want to go back to it. This dude is a firebrand, and I think it would be great to have him in the Senate.
And Senate's a whole different dog.
It is.
It's not like the House and all the arguing and complaining they do there. It's the deliberative body like we talked about last week.
The other aspect of that is, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, some people may not run because Darlene Graham got the Trump endorsement. Well, she got the endorsement for the appointment.
6-month run for the 6-month run. Right.
If Trey Gowdy or anybody else gets into this, that's off the table, I think. And I think that's fair at this point to assume that, unless there's something that we just haven't seen yet at this point. John, your thoughts on what's happening in South Carolina, and is it still a safe Republican seat in the Senate?
I think it's a safe Republican seat, definitely. I think it's just a matter of really looking at the candidates and which one of them's going to run. I mean, really, I think it's a safe Republican seat. I really do. I think they have pockets of them in South Carolina, but I think overall it's overall conservative state. They've liked what's happened. Lindsey Graham's done a wonderful job representing them. I mean, I think they would continue on that. I think if it's his sister, she probably has a little bit of a leg up because she'll get a sympathy vote. You'll have people that never vote, but she's just so nice and she's this. I think her main focus, she said, is going to be on domestic issues. Like she doesn't even want to deal with anything outside of it. Okay, fine. Maybe we need somebody that can come in and just calm everybody down and say we need milk and cookies. I hope so. That would be fine. I think past her, I don't know. Any number of them could do it. If Trey Gowdy were to do it, I think you'd get a seasoned lawmaker. You'd be replacing a very seasoned lawmaker with a seasoned lawmaker. I think anybody else, you are getting a rookie in there. You got Tim Scott. I don't really know where he ever is at. I never see him anymore.
Yeah. If he's not running for something else, then you never see him.
So. I mean, I mean, he does a good job, I'm assuming, for his
Yeah,
constituents.
yeah.
But I couldn't
Fine
even,
enough
I
job.
could not tell you the last time that I saw him on TV.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if Trey Gowdy would do it, you'd get a replacement with a seasoned lawmaker. But I think his sister could do a good job as well. I
think
don't
she
know.
screwed up. She screwed up because she lied. She's starting her campaign off with a lie. That's what we accuse Democrats of doing all the time. She said she wasn't going to do it. She was going to just fill out his term. And then one
Yeah, but
week
the lights get big, Craig, and
one weekend
you start enjoying those press conferences and your first votes and everything.
And she said she's going to run for it now.
That's why an 84-year-old is up in D.C. right now and won't give it up.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't get my vote just because of that, because she lied when she took the job. Trump could have appointed anybody. She took the job and said, "I'm only going to fill out my brother's term."
But if she's the nominee, the nominee and she's running against a Democrat, you still wouldn't vote.
You'd have to vote for her, but I wouldn't vote for. I wouldn't vote for her in the primary.
Yeah,
just because she started the thing off with a lie, and I just can't stand that. You know, and John runs. John just don't ever tell a lie, man. Just I don't care how bad it is. The truth is the truth.
How big that cherry tree was.
Yeah, the truth is the truth. You know, don't try to pull the wool over somebody's eyes, like she obviously did. And I mean, I don't respect her now, but just because she started off the whole thing with a lie within 7 days. Hey, man, it's just the way it is.
You're going at her today, man.
I'm not a fan of hers at all now.
I mean, you know, she got in there and they're like, listen, we got stock tips right here.
Right.
You just got to come.
You know, all you got to do is just let us know.
You get the envelope. So
yeah, but she just started off with a lie. So we've got to start holding these politicians to what they say. And
well,
I don't know how that would happen.
Well, somebody's got to start somewhere. So I'll start.
Maine can't find any candidates.
Maine's
you start making them tell the truth.
They might as well run a damn pine tree or a blackberry.
That's right.
Like I said, I just can't imagine their committee on who and they're going to choose next.
It's hilarious, isn't it,
do they sit around and like? Well, I mean, he's not terrible.
Maybe they're drunk.
What are you talking about?
Maybe they're drunk on maple syrup wine or something. I don't know.
Could be.
God Almighty. They struck out twice.
We will close tonight right here in the Commonwealth, where Rocky Atkins made his gubernatorial candidacy official this week with events in both Lexington and Louisville. And the 2027 Kentucky governor's race now officially has its Democrat primary in place. There will probably be more, but at least these two. Charles Booker will probably run for this too when he doesn't win the Senate seat. But Rocky Atkins made his candidacy for Kentucky governor official on Tuesday in Lexington, and then followed it with a Louisville event on Wednesday, formally entering the race that will determine who succeeds Governor Andy Beshear in the 2027 general election. The Lexington announcement at the Burl Brewery drew several hundred people to standing room only despite severe thunderstorm warnings. We actually didn't even go on the air that night because it was so bad. I was not at the Rocky Atkins announcement. That's not why we didn't.
You weren't?
I was not.
That was the rumor.
I know. I have no doubt that was the rumor from these guys. His campaign video opens with two boxers in a ring. I will be honest with you. I saw the political campaign.
I'll send it to you.
And I saw the Netflix one that he did, where he talked about that the TikTok Netflix thing.
Yeah,
both great. I got to admit,
he's got a good social media team. I'm going to tell you that.
Well, it makes you wonder: is his social media team coming from those who worked at the governor's office?
Well, I've been telling local politicians. It's all social media. You can buy all the TV ads you want. That's just a waste of money. It is getting your face in front of a camera on social media is what's going to get you to win. And Rocky has produced some really good videos.
A 66-year-old guy producing great videos on TikTok.
Have you seen the one where he's singing again?
Yeah.
He broke out this. That was, back in the day, but I'm sure he still sings. But he has got a great media campaign going so far. Have you seen him, John? Have you seen his video? Yeah, they're good.
John, you and I, both UK graduates with political science degrees, we take these things serious when people put these ads out. And Jen will be in the other room, and an ad will come on and go, "That was garbage." That is not the case with this one.
No,
I agree.
The Jasmine Crockett video she put out with Donald Trump talking over, I'm like, that's the worst thing you could have done. that's going to backfire. It did. These Rocky Atkins campaign ads, obviously, I'm not a Democrat, but I can appreciate the fact that they were ready. They didn't wait 2 weeks in to maybe drop some stuff. They had a couple of bangers ready to go, and they dropped them. And I got to believe if this is their opening salvo that they're
he's their best chance at anything. To be honest, I mean he's their best. He is their best chance if you consider him a good chance to beat. Representative Comer. If you look at him to beat, I mean,
yep.
But again, I've already heard from the Democrats. Well, he's got to beat Jacqueline first. And I'm like, okay, if that's a worry, then there's no way they're going to beat Comer. If they're even
John
worried
Hibbert,
about getting past her.
John Hibbert, $1,000 on the line, 10 pictures. Could you pick Jacqueline Coleman out of a lineup?
Can I phone a friend?
There you go. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Your average voter doesn't know who this person is.
I mean, so when you look at it, he's their last chance. Because when you look at the Democrat Party in the state of Kentucky, it is on a decline.
This is it.
And really, I think because Kentucky people, we have good morals and values, and I think the national level Democrat does not go well here in Kentucky. And I think the Democrat Party is going to get a very good indication of that with Charles Booker. They're going to see how bad Andy Barr beats him because running on that
25 points.
Well, let me ask you.
To be awful, it should be.
Let me ask you this, Craig. Turn to you. He acknowledges, even in his speaking points that he made over those 2 days, he acknowledged the fact that he lost Jefferson County big. In fact, if you guys will remember, he only won 10% of Jefferson County.
That's what caused him to lose that governor.
It cost him to lose, clearly, but he only won 10% of Jefferson County. He says that he has a better ground game. He understands what he needs to do in Jefferson County now. Is he able to pull that off? Because, and here's why I ask. I think Jacqueline Coleman, because of the teachers union, she's a woman. I think she's going to win Fayette County and Jefferson County. She may win the primary, even though I say that there's a lot of people who don't know who she is. She may win the primary just because the teachers union and others push her through.
Well,
Rocky's the only one who has a chance to win. So it's an interesting dichotomy. I think she may win the primary.
I've always wanted to run what I call Campaign 118. That's focus on the other 118 counties.
Yeah.
And say the heck with Jefferson and Fayette, because they're gonna go Democrat anyway. And Kyle's right. Rocky would have won Bashir's first campaign election if he didn't lose Jefferson County so badly. They had a great game.
If he had just made it close, competitive.
But the Democrats have figured that out. They figured out the big cities are where you go to get the
most
bang.
I want y'all to watch something now, because I think I saw it when Target opened here in Frankfort. During the 7 years that Bashir's been in office, Rocky Atkins is always at his side for all these economic development ribbon cuttings, all this university stuff. Rocky's always there just because he's his number one advisor.
You're absolutely right. I know where you're going.
But now watch and see if Jacqueline Coleman is not at Andy Bashir's hip.
She was
everywhere. She was yesterday.
She was yesterday.
Everywhere he goes in Kentucky. Because Rocky can pull out 10,000 pictures of him and Governor Bashir at all these economic development things while she's been back in Frankfort doing whatever a lieutenant governor does. I mean, this is going to be such a fun race to watch, because you got the governors 1 and governors 1A, and I don't know which is which. I don't know if his senior advisor is 1 or if his lieutenant governor is 1, and I don't know which one's 1A. But
I think it's Rocky.
Huh?
I think Rocky's his A. Again, because I think Rocky is name me another politician in Kentucky behind Rocky Atkins that could make a move in anything. Senate, I'll give you anything. Senate, any of them. Or any of the constitutional offices.
There aren't any.
State treasurer, any of those. He's it. He is 100% it. Their bullpen is zero.
Right.
And that's their own. I mean, that's their own fault for losing ground in the state year after year after year after year.
But he's doing it right. How I would, advise people, because used to, help run campaigns and stuff back in the day. But
you ran campaigns, Craig?
Yeah, I ran quite a few successfully too. I think it's social media campaigning now. It's not newspaper ads. It's not none of that other stuff. Comer's doing that right too. I mean, he's not announced anything, but he's got
It's the worst kept secret in the entire
it
conference.
is. But it's just it's going to be so fun to watch those two battle against each other, and in the background, everybody's going to say, "Andy, who you got?"
Everybody thinks that he's going to stay hands off. You can't. There comes a point where you're going to have to give an endorsement.
Yeah, he has to.
And
he's not the party.
I hate to say it, because Jacqueline Coleman and her team have to understand that she was chosen to bring the teachers union along, because that's the only way he was going to win and beat Bevan the first time.
Yep.
And I'm not saying she was a tool to be used, but I haven't heard any of her anything she's accomplished during the last 7 years.
You heard anything?
I mean,
it's typical of a lieutenant governor.
It is, but at the same time, there's been plenty of lieutenant governor, blue ribbon commissions and all sorts of things that they've done in the past. I don't know what has happened, and now you're in a race where you're running against the most senior Kentucky statesman. 33 years in the House, and then 7 years. He spent 40 years, 4 decades.
And he's a likable guy.
Oh, so likable. This is going to be so folksy if Jamie and him go and Rocky go against each other. There's going to be so many folksy sayings and, come on now. I mean, back and forth. I mean, Fantasy Farm will be fun next year.
Yeah, Rocky's from Elliott County. Jamie's from Monroe County. Yeah. I mean, can you get much smaller to lead the whole Commonwealth?
No.
I mean, it's going to be so much fun covering this next year. I mean, I'm excited for it. Let's go on and get this election over here. Let's go on and get John and others in office. And John, will you be allowed to come on this podcast if you win?
I'd say so. What would not?
You're darn straight, Jar. You're American. Don't forget that.
That's right.
Like,
that was a trick question, I think. I think he's like trying to see if your loyalty would changes or anything.
Yeah, that was just a play question. I knew the answer.
See my face, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But it's going to be
North Korea again? What's going on?
Yeah, it's going to be fun covering that race, and it's going to be fun watching this fall, watching you guys try to win. And
I think even our local offices, it's really weird. I know they had talked about switching our constitutional offices to when we had our regular elections. I think it really helped down ballot cases when you have that, especially in areas where you may have a dominant party, hint, Franklin County, to have down ballot races. I just don't see the point in having these off year items. Put them in the same year.
Save the darn money, the county clerk's money.
It would save a ton of money. Now they'll tell you they're able to do it on shoestring budgets, and good on them. But save any money, and the easiest way to do that is to go ahead and do that
in one lick. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that and we're also going to have full-time daylight savings time too, right? So,
and I'm all for that too.
Yeah. John's looking at.
It won't get light till like 9:05.
Yeah,
I don't get up till 9 o'clock. I'm retired, brother. I go to bed at 2 in the
Boomer
morning.
answer.
I go to bed at 2 in the morning, so I don't get up till 9. Kyle texted me at 9 this morning. I heard it and I just rolled over.
That's Kyle. He's good.
But then I emailed him at like 1 in the morning last night.
Yeah, I did not get that one until today. I'll just be honest with you. Jen sends us some info here. Usha Vance had her baby this week. Baby boy. Congratulations to the vice president and
Neil Vance. Neel Vance.
Meal?
Yeah, not Neil. Neel.
Neil Vance. Great. Good.
Useless information.
Yeah. Well, that is useless, but we appreciate it. That's always adds.
Boy, we need more boys in this United States.
Kind of crushing it. John, man, it's always great to have you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I feel like I gotta nail you down every time. He's like, I'm good. for like the next 2 weeks, and then I text him, and he's like, "Not today, though. Today's the one day." So, that's
no,
all right.
I appreciate y'all having me on. It's been a great time,
man.
as always.
It's actually great to have you on here, have some more
It
opinions.
is, yeah.
Craig,
And
anything?
we'll do some local stuff later on.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about our local races.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll
Kyle?
actually have you over to the studio here, and we'll
Sure.
do live in studio so everybody can get to know you a little bit better.
We'll do the interview. You clip it up, use it as a campaign. I guess.
Absolutely.
Just like you do plant board stuff.
I appreciate it.
Anything else we need to touch on before we get out of here? You sent me a bunch of stuff today, Craig. Did we talk about all of it?
What was there? There was a couple of funny things. Let me look at my sheet what I sent to you today. While y'all are looking at his turkey.
Did we name the turkey?
That's Big Earn. That's
Big Earn. That's right, Big Earn.
Yep.
Big Earn.
Big
And
Earn.
which puppy is that you just had in the?
That would be Venus, who you can tell it's got to be 636.
Time to eat.
So I have both of them right here begging me to eat. Like you would figure they haven't eaten in days.
Yeah.
Spout's not going to make it at this point.
2 right outside the door. They're probably doing the exact same thing. So
They don't have watches, but they can definitely tell time. They know
100%.
when there's treat time at night. They know all that stuff. It's crazy.
Well, we didn't. Archie Goodwin. He on the TBT. He didn't show up the first 2 games, but he was a leading scorer last night and hit the winning basket.
Willie Cauley-Stein with 10 points.
Yeah,
and played big. They will move on to the next round of the TBT. Archie will apparently play. We're
so he's supposed to.
We're looking into information about Ryan Hampton that we mentioned just yesterday, that we believe there's still a possibility he could reclassify. So any
Which would be awesome.
Big Blue Nation fans out there.
What do you know about Reese Alston, Kyle? Alston.
I just know that he is in the mix at this point. I don't know where we stand on Reese Alston. I'll do my best to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, I read that he's number 3 point guard in the country.
He is.
And he's looking to reclassify. So, and Pope's on him, and Pope watched him down at the Peach Basket thing.
Yeah, Peach Basket.
Peach Jam. Time we're gonna have a Kentucky football segment. Y'all know that, right? Have a Kentucky football.
Listen,
we talked a little football yesterday.
We will.
We're going to be all over that stuff.
We will have post game shows too that you'll be a part of, John.
Yeah. So. Do you like doing that, John? We're going to do.
Do you like the sports ball, John?
I mean, the only problem is I'm pretty critical. Like, if now, granted, it's going to be his first year. I'm optimistic. I think he's going to do a good job. But I might be like, I can't do it tonight. I'll just end up cussing the entire time.
Above the noise.
I've been a lifelong UK fan, so I know all about mediocrity.
You can't pull the wool over UK fans' eyes. If we do have a bad game, we'll just say they had a bad game. But if they had a great game, it's going to be Homer City.
Oh yeah.
Well, if he can manage to beat Alabama, if he can do that, and again, I don't care if he loses every other game. I mean, honestly, if he can beat Alabama.
I just want a great offensive season.
Beat Alabama, beat Louisville. You got to beat Alabama, beat Louisville.
The Florida's
icing on top.
The Florida's coach was on, I guess, the AOC Media Days talking about when he played at Kentucky and how Kentucky took him from a boy to a man, and that he loves Lexington. He appreciates everything they're doing and wish Kentucky all the luck in the world after we kicked their butt again.
He can still lose. Before we get out of here, John.
The schedule's brutal.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Before we get out of here, John, does Kentucky football start out 2-0? Youngstown State, Alabama.
See, we got it.
I'm gonna be optimistic and say yes.
All right, writing it down. John says yes.
Yeah, we discussed this too. Where are you at on running up the score? Like, should we score if we get an opportunity, if we're good enough to do it with our offensive line and our quarterback? Would you, because before when we've had big leads, we've called off the dogs, which I hate. If we had an opportunity to score 60 points against Youngstown State, would you let them keep doing it to keep your offense going?
I think it's not my team. I remember Joey Thacker told me this a long time. It's not my job. It's not my job to stop myself when I go out there. There's a whole team out there focusing on that. If you run your plays and you execute, it's your job to stop me.
That's right.
Now,
Yeah.
Right until the end of the game, still stop me.
I think, and especially now where, if we were to come up and be 2-0 and beat Alabama, we would immediately be, they're in the top 10. I guarantee we'd be in the top 10 for what it would be. So then you have to start looking back if we do well throughout the year and we got 8 wins and then they look back at how many points we scored and how did we do. So I think the days of not running it up, I think you've got to just keep them in there. And
I'm all for
especially at the
running it
beginning
up.
of the season.
And Kyle, what did Will Stein say in SEC days?
We're going to win because of me.
Because of me. That's the greatest phrase ever.
We do have some late breaking news. It appears that the vote on college sports bill will not come before the August recess. So they do not anticipate that the Save College Sports will be voted upon.
That's in the Senate, right?
That's in the Senate before school starts, which is everyone was hoping that it would be voted on before school starts.
Yeah.
I heard a crazy story today.
Leader.
Before we get out of here, but I heard the SEC and Greg Sankey are considering leaving NCAA.
You know it's coming.
The NCAA?
They're going to form their own league because the NCAA, they have no control over nothing. All they do is they want a piece of the TV contract. Now. Yeah, they want a piece of TV contract so they can pay themselves millions of dollars a year. And their discipline stuff is a joke. The Power Five will form their own thing, and when the next TV contract's up, the NCAA will go away. It'll stay Division 2, 3, and NAIA.
Wow. I don't know how they possibly could get an infraction nowadays. I think I saw something a couple of weeks ago, but some team had an infraction. I'm like, how could you possibly get in trouble?
What could you what did you do? Did you hit a bus of nuns or something? Because it's the only thing.
And then take control of them and not let them out for a month. I mean, I don't know what you could do to do that. But the NCAA lost control. They, when we were in college, couldn't even give them food. That was an infraction. And they did. They literally made billions of dollars on these kids. And they never paid. They weren't able to do what they wanted to do. So then once it went to the court system in the United States of America, it could go anywhere. Yeah. And once it got out there, there's nothing to do.
I know that you're a Kentucky fan through and through, but they should apologize to the Fab Five. I'm just going to say it. I mean, those guys got rundown cars. They got a little bit of money to live on. These kids are living like millionaires. They're driving brand new fancy cars. And these kids, Chris Webber essentially was ostracized and kicked out for essentially making way less than what these guys make a minute now on the court.
Remember how many times they joked that Kentucky was the best paid college basketball team in America?
Yeah.
And I know back in my days, in my youth, the $100 handshakes. Did y'all ever hear of those?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
we were at Kentucky. We saw it.
Exactly.
We know what was up.
Yeah.
Ron Mercer only went to class for 10 minutes. He was literally across the room. I got to see him walk in late and leave early.
It's true.
So, I don't remember.
Yeah. You walk in the first day of class and you're like, none of these people are going to be here in the next few weeks. Vance Bolter receives 2 consecutive life sentences plus 40 years for stalking and shooting Democrat lawmakers in Minnesota earlier last year.
Well, that's good. He should just put him to the chair and be done with it.
They can't do that. We got to keep him alive for the next 20 years.
And another 60-year burden on the taxpayers.
Yeah. Go figure, right?
But Utah's got the firing squad, so
there's always hope, right?
There's always hope.
That will do it for us tonight. What a wild set of stories we had. One of the longest shows.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thanks for joining us tonight on Apex News Above the Noise. Until next time, make sure that you stay informed, stay sharp, stay above the noise. Thanks, guys. We will talk to you all later. Have a great night.